Mga kasamahan ni Tevê gusto siyang ipatumba. Naniniwala si Pamplona Mayor Janice Digamo na maaaring ang mga opisyal na nabayaran ni Kong Arnie Tevê ang maaaring magpatumba sa kongresista. Ito ang pananaw ng alkalde sa sinasabing threat sa buhay ni Tevê kung uwi ito ng bansa. Paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng kampo ni suspended Congressman Arnie Tevê na malaki ang banta sa buhay ng kongresista sakaling uuwi ito ng bansa. Ang basa nito ni Pamplona Mayor Janice Digamo, maaaring ang threat ay nanggagaling sa mga tao o opisyal na nabayaran o naging kasangkapan nito sa paggawa ng iligal na aktibidad dito sa Pilipinas. Baka aniya kasi maikanta sila ni Tevê. Sa Senate hearing, una nang nilutang ng alkalde na ang mga Tevê ang nasa likod ng iligal na isabong sa iba't ibang lugar sa bansa.
Meron daw dito member ng LRC?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sino?
To answer the query of the committee a while ago, there were 11, sir.
Yes.
From the 11 suspects, hindi kasama doon yung civilian. 9, unfortunately, are with military background. They are ex-military personnel who were all dishonorably discharged for various offenses. So, siyam po yun, sir. Yung isa doon, sir, nag-training for a few months as a candidate soldier pero hindi niya natapos. And the other one is yung sinasabing ex-NPA, sir. Now, as to your query, sir, as to merong member of the LRC, formerly, sir, yes, isa po, sir.
Isa?
Opo, sir.
Bakit siya na-discharge?
For a, sir,
Kelly, guwalo nga, kung tingnan mga malaman natin yung background nito mga tao na ito. Is it drug offense or is it whatever offense? Alam ko, discharge siya for drugs ba yung kaso niya?
he was on AWOL, sir. AWOL. Yes, sir.
Iwol. So, out of the 9 na sinabi mo, ilan doon ng dating Scout Ranger? We have to inventory these people para makakrap up tayo ng policy ng na paano i-monitor itong mga tao after they are dishonorably discharged na hindi magamit ng masasamang tao. Lalo-lalo yung mga specially skilled soldiers. Ilang Scout Ranger?
Sir, isa doon yung, as per our verification, dating sa Ranger, sir. But yung sa LRC kasi, sir, ano rin yun, before you become an LRC, you have to take...
Ranger qualified ka?
Or SF qualified, sir.
SF qualified?
Yes, sir. Now, to the query of Ma'am Hontiveros, Senator Hontiveros kanina, on what the AFP has done with regards to this, the suspects with former military. Sir, when this incident happened, our leadership immediately came up with the following actions. We identified and built a database of all dishonorably discharged personnel, especially those with special skills, includes EOD, sniping, counter-terrorist skills. Also, sir, on the part of our personnel, we now have a database of those with special skills or training, sir, either active or retired, and that we are able to come up with this database for monitoring, sir. And we are conducting a review of current policies for those who are on AWOL or dishonorably discharged, sir. So we're doing that, sir, on the part of the personnel. On the training portion naman, sir, we are now crafting what would be an undertaking of contract for those military personnel who have undergone skills which is really required on the part of the military, like, as I've said, EOD or sniping cell or counter-terrorist. So parang yung sa 22K scholarship namin yan, sir, na you sign a undertaking contract just to make sure on our part that it should not be used for other purposes other than those for which it is intended po, sir. So, yun po, Mr. Honor.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Can I follow up lang, Mr.
Wait.
Chair, about that report, Mr. Chairman, that the resource person is talking about? I think I did not hear anything about the use or the access to using unauthorized uniform. Kasi yung mga pumasok po lahat, naka-uniform eh. Kasama po ba yun? Unauthorized use of uniforms, firearms, etc. Tinitingnan po ba natin yun, sir?
There is an existing policy on that, Your Honor. Unfortunately, some of these uniforms can be readily commercially available, sir, or readily can be bought.
Is there anything we can do about it? I mean, if you are saying easily, parang ganun, napakadali gawin, gayahin, etc. In fact, di ba ba sa mga pagtitipon, tinitignan mabuti yun, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir. As I had mentioned, Your Honor, we have a policy on that. Pinagbabawal po talaga yun, sir. And
But it's hard to implement. I think you and I would agree that it's very hard to implement. And perhaps if we can find out what we can do to help you implement this policy. Mr. Chairman, if I may, because I'm seeing Secretary Remulla and Secretary Abalos giving their signals.
Please,
I think
continue.
they have to leave, and we don't want to take so much of their time. I was listening attentively to Secretary Remulla about his, and I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman, when he made mention about the path of looking into the anti-terror law. I was one of the supporters of this anti-terror bill, terror law. Nabash kami, etc. Maraming hindi nakaintindi sa amin, but we hold our ground. And looking at the video kanina, Mr. Chairman, lahat po kami dito, nangingilabot, lahat kami nagngangalit pa rin, kahit na ilang beses na namin nakikita yun. And if you look at the anti-terror bill, it's clearly, Mr. Chairman, pasok doon sa anti-terror law natin, no, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to ask our DOJ Secretary, considering doon sa Section 25 ng anti-terror law, yung council may designate an individual, whether domestic or foreign, upon finding probable cause that they committed criminal acts under the law. May mga circumstances po ba? What are the circumstances that or pieces of evidence which can show that an individual has probable cause to commit acts in violation of anti-terror act to be designated as a terrorist? Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Secretary Remulla. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In this case, Mr. Chairman, the activities that led to this to the killing on March 4, all are covered under the anti-terror law. The recruitment, the financing, the purchase of firearms, the distribution of firearms, everything that transpired is actually has the hallmarks of terrorism in it, Mr. Chairman. However, when the cases were filed individually, we could not really file an anti-terror case immediately, or we cannot actually file an anti-terror case immediately because it takes a lot of legal theory and a lot of research to be able to prove a terrorism case. And we are afraid right now that if we immediately file a terrorism case based on the crimes that transpired, it may prejudice other convictions that can be secured easily with the same punishment for murder, for multiple murder, Mr. Chairman. However, as a solution to the impasse here about the surrender of Mr. Tevê or Congressman Tevê, we are looking at designating him or prescribing him as a terrorist. To have him proscribed by the Court of Appeals or designated by the Anti-Terror Council because of the acts that happened. Because the other persons are in custody already, there's no more need. But as far as Mr. Tevez is concerned, Congressman Tevez, we may need for him to be designated and proscribed, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'm asking this question to reiterate, Mr. Chairman, what you mentioned a while ago, that this committee is also exercising our oversight function, Mr. Chairman.
Correct.
And the fact that the Secretary of Justice is leading the way to look into this particular law, Mr. Chairman, we appreciate the initiative of our Department of Justice. Perhaps my next question, Mr. Chairman, is how effective is the coordination of the Anti-Terrorism Council? For example, once a person is designated as a terrorist or part of a terrorist group, how immediate will be the freezing of persons' assets be made? Yung cancellation din yan ng passport, yung right to travel, etc. And that's the main reason, Mr. Chairman, why I supported you, Mr. Chairman, in this particular law that we passed in this Congress. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, can you respond, Secretary Remulla, then Secretary Abalos later? Please, sir, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that is really the intent, is really to look into all of these acts that transpired and the prescription and the designation to be our goal further down the road. Because if the person will not surrender, then we will have to make the world smaller for him. And that is really the purpose of the anti-terror law, is that the whole world will actually not tolerate any act of terrorism. That's why when we were reading through the law, we found it to be the most applicable in this case for a person who has not surrendered, Mr. Chairman. And I think we're on the way there already.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that means we are testing now the law that we passed, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have some other questions, but I will let my colleagues to
Yeah, you want to-
Mr. Chair.
Secretary Abalos, you want to add?
Ang sa akin lang po, kamukha po ng sinabi ni Senator Villanueva, tamang-tama po itong batas na ito. Dahil dito nakapaloob ang lahat na dapat nating gawan. Tanggalan ng passport, lahat talaga ipiti na po. Kaya angkop na angkop ang anti-terror law sa mga nangyari pong ito. Talagang 100% agree po ako dito. Salamat po.
Thank you. And if I may add, alam mo, pag ganun ka powerful ang suspect, ganun ka yaman, ganun kadami ang pera, kapag na-freeze yung kanyang asset, lahat ng kanyang pera sa bangko, ano pa magagamit niya para to bribe or to hire more killers? Wala na. Hindi na niya ito magagamit. So, napakagandang batas ito.